What's happening, guys? Welcome back. We are going to be digging deeper into the Speed 6. You guys saw last episode where I was extremely frustrated digging into this car, just like bottomlessly. It felt like I just was trying everything and nothing was working. But with the help of a lot of people, especially my boys, Pat, JD, Dirty Water Racing, those guys, people all over, really, it's been kind of overwhelming and awesome at the same time, the amount of people that have reached out to help out. Everybody that has kind of pitched in ideas has said electrical. So we kind of started digging more into that, and I actually went and bought a new battery just because I didn't really know the health of the other one. I had an Optima red top, and after speaking to a lot of people, they're not really that reliable. They've had cells die on them and stuff. So I went and bought like a new Napa AGM battery with a, it's got a warranty on it, so if anything happens, I can swap it out. But we started thinking of power, and now that we're thinking of it, when I started cranking the car in the last video, I mentioned it, if anybody caught it, I was having a little bit of smoke coming from the underneath of the hood, and I really didn't know where it was coming from. I thought it was maybe like a breather for the catch can, just like breathing out smoke from whatever. But when I put the new battery in, it was cranking, and the car actually backfired really loud with a flame. So that was really promising because of the fuel and spark kind of thing happening out the back. But after looking at the alternator on the car, it was smoking like crazy, like bad. And I was like, holy crap, it all makes sense. Like after driving the car, right, the car died. And not any inkling of what I was thinking was alternator. Right. So honestly, it makes sense. All the wires, like crank position sensor, all that stuff, all of that feeds back to the ECU. So if the alternator was burnt up, say the voltage regulator in the alternator died and I just didn't know, and then I just kept further burning it up as I was cranking the car, trying to figure it out, that thing was probably smoked, which can cause a ton of issues in the car. So yeah, I am praying that this new alternator is going to help. Now, huge shout out to my guys at A Solutions Auto Parts. Those guys hook it up all the time with any extra parts I need or spare parts. They are a part out yard for aftermarket cars mostly, and they got on the ball right away and shipped out an alternator. Unfortunately, with the whole coronavirus thing going on, shipping got a little delayed. I don't know if that's the cause of the shipping, but it was supposed to be delivered today and it got pushed to Monday. Luckily, I forgot that Dom actually had his alternator from his Speed 3 when it used to have AC before it got AC deleted. So he actually had one in the stock location. It's just missing that black housing piece in the back. So we're just going to swap that over from mine and just see if it works. Dude, if this works,
be so sick.
We'll be ripping, dude.
And if it doesn't,
we're setting it on fire. On fire. No, I'm gonna go put it out in a Walmart parking lot with no face mask.
That's just cruel.
So we're gonna dive in, take this alternator out, and get everything swapped over and pop that alternator in, and we'll see if that does it. Okay, so alternator that was in the car, give her a listen. She's a little toasty in there too. This one. Yeah, she's a little charred. So what we're gonna have to do is swap out this black cap over here onto this feller and reinstall it. You had to pull out the downpipe. For those of you who asked, okay, everybody asked what downpipe I have. This is an eBay Manzo downpipe that we cut up and modified and welded specifically to our top mount setup. So you can buy an eBay downpipe. These are like literally like 120 bucks. You can buy one of these. They're great quality. They work good. And then we just added and modified a section with a little bit of bend to our top mount setup. So that answers that question. Moving on. Let's get this swapped over to here, put it back in, reverse, and see what we got. Okay, new alternator is hooked up. We're leaving the downpipe off for a second because I just want to see if it actually attempts to fire. I'm super nervous right now. I just want it to work so bad. Okay, so we got fuel hooked up. I literally have all port injection, watt box, everything still disconnected. So I'll try to fire it up real quick. If it fires, I'm just going to turn it off because I'll know it works, and that way I won't wake up the neighborhood.
Release the crack.
Oh boy. So guys, unfortunately, with the alternator put in there, we had no luck starting the car. And honestly, I redid a compression test and it's still very low. And so I just have to stick through with my guns and get the compressor out. I got it from my brother. So I got a small compressor, and we're about to do a leak down to see how these cylinders are holding up. I just can't see how, you know, compression could have anything to do with electrical unless, you know, they are completely washed down with fuel and it's not creating any kind of, you know, pressure. But all the cylinders are the same or pretty close to, so it's kind of hard to think something's not wrong in the head. So about to get everything ready to go, put the cylinder 1 at top dead center and get ready to do leak down to cylinder 1. So really good news. At, you know, 60 psi, it is at very low leakage. If I keep going up, the leakage percentage goes down. So that's a really, really good sign. I'm gonna let it down and we're gonna go to the next cylinder. All right, guys, even better news. Cylinder 4 is in the low and in the clear around 20% at 70 psi. So that's a really good sign. I got Chris and Rodney on the phone with me right now, video chatting, going through everything, trying to figure this thing out. So we're about to pop out cylinder 2 here and pull the plugs on 2 and 3, set those at top dead center, you know, 1 at a time, and test those as well. Fingers crossed we have, you know, no leakage in any cylinders, and that will make me feel so much better because in the back of my head this whole time, I'm like, dude, something's wrong with the motor. Something's wrong with the motor. Something's wrong with the motor. Like, it just wasn't adding up because honestly, still, I mean, this compression tester could be a pile of trash and could just be giving me a low reading. I mean, Rodney was just telling me that his compression tester that he bought shows 90% on all his cylinders, and his car has less than 1,000 miles on it. So it could be the tester itself, but this is a really good sign right now, and it all comes down to the last 2 cylinders we have here to figure out, you know, really what's going on, to get a better understanding to move forward from here. Because like Rodney and Chris have been telling me, when you're in this situation, you tend to get in some kind of a panic mode where you just start irrationally and unorganizingly checking everything without any kind of systematic thought to it. So it's like you kind of just scatter all over the car and just start checking random stuff without really remembering what you checked and what you didn't. So this is a really good sign. I'm gonna jump over to cylinder 2 and 3, get those done, and I will report back to you guys with an update. Oh, all right, cylinder 2, a go. That was actually the best one so far. Cylinder 3, check it out. It might get loud, the compressor might kick on, but check this out. We're rolling. We're rolling. We are solid, boys. We're good to go. All right, guys, so a lot of people are probably going through a pretty hectic time right now with this whole coronavirus thing going on. So I'm just gonna clean up the garage a little bit. We got stuff everywhere from trying to diagnose this thing. One thing I wanna point out is that we did swap the alternators, but after further researching, I'm pretty sure the Gen 2 Speed 3 alternator and the Speed 6 alternator are slightly different in the terms of voltage regulator. So just to play it safe, I think an alternator was a contributing factor, but I honestly think the smoke was coming from a wire. And I further diagnosed with Rodney and Chris and pulled back this harness. Now, wait till you see what I found. So this down here, if this thing will focus, is an exposed wire on the crank position sensor plug. Well, if you can tell on camera that this plug is very discolored in places, coming through multiple areas. So my belief is that this wire is exposed, bent, possibly has some kind of malfunction to it, and it caused heat. Because in the spots that it has heat, the wire was a little hard in some spaces. And from further learning from people that have more experience in wiring than I do, that an exposed wire on a sensor like this may cause resistance issues. And if anybody knows anything about resistance, it causes heat. And notice how none of the other wires have heat to them. Now, you guys will probably see this. This is actually meant to be like this from the factory. It is a shielded wire down to a green wire, but resistance causes heat, and I think this wire saw some heat, possibly due to this here and or it pulling out slightly and causing itself to short on itself. So what we're gonna do is go back to the point where we see no burning, which would be somewhere around like up here, and we're gonna cut it and solder in a new section and depin this completely, clean it out, repin it, and we're going to attach it and see if that is the cause of our issue. Because if there's any kind of resistance issues on a sensor, it's definitely going to throw some things off, and that could be 100% our issue. So like I said, we're still digging, but we're going to check out the new alternator from my guys at A Solutions Auto Parts. Like I said, it's been a few days. It actually came in and got it all here. So here we have a Speed 6 alternator, and looks like it's in pretty good shape. So we're gonna actually swap this one in instead, just because I want to make sure that this is the right one going in. So we're gonna get to that. I'm gonna clean up the garage a little bit. I already started. There's stuff everywhere, cleaning some stuff up, putting tools away, just cleaning out my area, because over the last few weeks it's been just a ransack in here of tearing stuff apart. So school shut down, got my man Vince outside, did some schoolwork today in the house, so figure we just start cleaning some things up, because I want to be super confident that this is the issue, but only fixing it and trying it will let us know. So we're gonna get some things cleaned up, we're gonna swap that alternator over and try to fix that wire, and we'll see where that gets us. All right, guys, the new alternator is down and in there. Here is the plug for the crank position sensor. You can tell there's a wire missing. That's because we just depinned it from the plug and got her out. So the actual connection in here looked fine, but that exposed wire and the dark marks on here, I don't know, kind of suspect. So I wanted to replace it anyway, whether this fixes it or not. That wire is a no-go. So we have the new one run up to the plug. So basically what we're gonna do is hook that into a new little dilly whopper here and plug it into the sensor plug, and then try to run the wire down, plug it in, and see what happens. We got to run the down pipe down and connect that, and cross our fingers, see what happens. Well, guys, that was a bust. I know it's not what you were wanting to hear or wanting to see, but this is all just kind of zip tied up for now, so it's out of the way. But replace the wire, all the connections for the wire that we repinned and everything are solid. The other alternators in. I mean, we're not seeing any smoking, so that's good. I don't think that was the issue. We did, however, find another code that popped up on the access port, and it's the first one we've had in a while since having the original codes on the car. When it first died, we had a 1600 code, I think, for the PCM, and a like weird code for transponder, but those are no longer showing up. But yeah, the code that we're getting now it's a U1900, and we looked it up, and it's basically like it's saying that there's like a miscommunication between either like the ECU and the like all-wheel drive diff control module, which is like attached to the ECU underneath the thing, which that module is clicking. Like, I've pointed that out to a few people, but it's when you turn the key on, it's actually clicking. Here's the module. I just have it hanging, but key on. Ready? Do it again. And I've confirmed with other people with Speed 6s that theirs does not do that. So I don't know if an all-wheel drive like differential module underneath a dash would have anything to do with the car not starting or shutting off while I'm driving. Any of you guys know, comment down below, please. I'm at a loss, man. Like, I don't know what else it'd be. Like, I'm at the point where I'm about to strap the wheel on it, or about to bolt the wheel on and get this thing on a trailer and bring it to Mazda, because I just need them to plug in to see if they can see where the communication error is. Because, dude, I'm blown. Like, I don't know.
Dude, I'd rather have Corona at this point.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Anybody has any suggestions, leave them down in the comments. If we find out anything, between now and then, we'll make sure to update you. But I really don't know. I'm going to call, a couple of my Mazda tech buddies and see, what they think the next step should be. I'm going to try to get this thing probably over to the dealership if we can't figure it out in the next couple days. Because at this point, I think it's a hardware issue. And, I kind of said that from the beginning, but I just wasn't sure. And I wanted to check everything else before I went there. But, if I have another ECU to get, like I have people that have them. But regardless, that's got to
keys and
right. Regardless, it's going to have to go to the dealer with my keys to get reprogrammed. So I was just waiting on that step to try everything else, just because they're going to have to plug in anyway, and they can probably see where the communication error is, because they plug in and they're able to actually like run a test and see, where there's a break in communication. Because it was saying that U1900 code that we pulled was saying something about like CAN bus, like a CAN communication error. So who knows, dude? At this point, I'm at a loss. Like, this is beyond my knowledge at this point. And that may just be frustration talking, but we've literally, like, from right to left have gone through everything in the engine bay. Like,
well, yeah, we narrowed it down. Spark, it's got fuel,
and that's the thing, like, it's sparking, it's got fuel, like, it's gotta be a communication issue in the car. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So comment down below if you guys have anything. Sorry to leave you guys like this again, but dude, I want to bring you along the way for the lows along with the highs. So if anybody knows, send help. We'll catch you guys later. Peace.